She's one of the country's leading fashion designers who claims Nicola Roberts, Jessie J and Talisa are her muses. We caught up with Joanne Hynes to talk about her new quirky and cool 2012 collection.
Galway native Joanne Hynes is a name the fashion world is very excited about of late. Her edgy and funky designs have adorned the likes of Paloma Faith and Talisa, not to mention a standing ovation at London Fashion Week. Joanne's new collection is all about embellishment, bright colours, embossed leathers and quirky birds and bunny accessories.
I suppose it's a lot more me, really. It's more a reflection of what I would like to wear. So that's always good.
Now, Nicola Roberts is on the front cover of InStyle magazine this month, wearing your own clothes.
Yeah, she's gone stellar. I mean, she's always been herself. She's never done the fake tan thing, you know, all of that. She wears wigs, and I just think it's very exciting to work with her because she's very professional and she's experimental.
Joanne's new collection has been featured in Vogue and recently been shot by famous fashion photographer Mario Testino. But it's the detail in the leather that has everybody talking.
You know, you're not really supposed to use leather for summer, but I just thought, you're not supposed to use it. I'm attracted to it, I want it.
Although her celebrity clientele is very important to her, it's also about those who admire and respect the work.
Obviously celebrity is really important, but I don't design with celebrity in mind. It's not the be all and the end all of it. It is interesting and it's fun and it reaches an audience, but there's a lot of other women as well that I would admire and respect that wear it, that might be a little bit under the radar.
So salmon leather and studded diamantes are the key features for this first look.
I started doing these very, very kind of frenetic, kind of abstract drawings of lions and bunnies and oh my god, what was going on in my head, but a lot of different embellishment on top of the leather, which is, I suppose, it's really pushing the boat out.
And speaking of which, her designs are different and not everyone could pull off the second look as seen here, but Joanne is happy for you to be selective with her collection.
I'm completely fine for somebody to just want the collar
or the bag.
Yeah, because I think that's intelligent. I think it makes sense. I mean, it's nice for somebody to wear the whole look. When it's yours, it's yours, it's ownership, it becomes part of your life, so it's kind of moved on from where it was, and that's really what the collection is about. So it's kind of like having a wardrobe where you can kind of shape things, move things around, and then, you know, it's still quite now and of the moment, but it's something that will last forever.
Finally, it's all about showcasing the neck piece.
So the whole idea was I wanted a very plain, minimal front, so it was almost like an anchor for the necklace. That was the idea with the dress. And then the shirt on top of it. There's a lot of craftsmanship and behind it, and the whole, you know, the process of making it was quite intricate, really, and challenging. But so this was kind of like a younger version of being a little bit more dressed up.
And to catch more of Joanne's 2012 collection, log on to joannehynes.com.
Earlier on in the show, we chatted to Irish fashion designer Joanne Hynes about her new collection. Now we're checking out her funky neck pieces with an 18th century influence that have everyone in the fashion industry buzzing.
In the decade that Joanne Hynes has been designing professionally, she's become just as well known for her show-stopping jewellery as her clothing collections. And back in October, her work took centre stage on the X Factor as Judge Talisa wore one of her autumn-winter 2011 creations.
You know, she was on the X Factor and she wanted to look, you know, she wanted to kind of pop, I suppose, so it has that element of popping.
Absolutely.
This is patent leather, and then it's there's Swarovski crystals and there's a mixture of metal and I normally use a lot of different kind of cut stones and there's chains and things like that mixed in. For me, I'm really, really interested in accessories right now because I think they're a wonderful thing to have in your wardrobe. They're very, very kind of flexible with clothing and fit and things like that. They can really transform the way that you put things together.
And when it comes to Joanne's Spring-Summer 2012 collection, the neck pieces are just as memorable, starting with an embellished Marie Antoinette-inspired piece.
I was actually, I suppose, looking at different kind of stories, and that one is very much the Marie Antoinette fantasy garden. That's what it's called. So it was really just kind of about layering, and there's a lot of stones and diamante, and it's really very generous in terms of the material that's used in it.
But if butterflies aren't your thing, emerald green might be a safer option. Green is a signature look for you.
Green, I love green, and it's a colour that I use in every collection. And Because it reminds me of home. Maybe. I love that colour. It's very powerful, it's very regal.
Moving on to our next piece, I think it's the black, very heavily beaded black piece.
That's the Black Knight collar, which is really lovely because it's quite light and it's glass and perspex mixed. That if I was to start with the Joanne Hynes necklace, I would start with that or with the one that I'm wearing.
You've worn it with a military jacket, something I would never have thought to wear a piece that ornate with.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's kind of the balance. It's like, you know, a lot of design, you kind of really need to think about how we live our lives and how we move around and all that kind of thing. So I like the idea of taking this and putting it with, obviously you can put it with something very dressy naturally, but I also like the idea of putting it with just an old sweater, you know, just kind of playing around with what it can be.
With such intricate designs on Joanne's neck pieces, the design process definitely isn't a simple one.
Really, it's the first stage in thinking that takes the time. You know, it's actually putting it together. So the way that I work is quite spontaneous. So I work with the material rather than actually sitting down designing, really. It's a bit like cooking.
Oh, if only our cooking produced results like these.